Okay, so now let's go on to two things here. We're going to bypass Jetpack because, again, some of you may not even have that. That's pretty much specific to the user. It all depends on who your host is. But more importantly, it's the post and the pages. And of course, we'll go into media, which is pretty much a library of your images, your videos, your audio, things of that nature, and we will be discussing that. But let's go ahead and discuss posts and pages. Post is pretty much articles and content that allows for feedback. So in other words, let's go ahead and type in Rolling Stone. There it is right there, rollingstone.com. And this is supposedly they said this is a WordPress website. But as you can see on the right hand side here, okay, all this content, this is the year 2021, January 2021. So all the news over here you see is pertaining to this time. And on the left hand side, you also see a lot of content here. Different things, different news of the day, and of course, as you know, news changes. And pretty much Rolling Stone is a news website. It is a website that continuously changes all the time. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, basically, post is handled by post right here. So if you click on post and all post, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and remove Rolling Stone. Great magazine, great content over the years. Pages, on the other hand, before we go into post, pretty much static. It's just like a typical website. It just kind of basically it just sits there and not really inviting much content. Pretty much a stationary website. I've had clients who basically kept the same website for years and they wonder why no traffic comes in. But for a successful website, you need to have interaction. You need to have fresh new content. But just because it's pages doesn't mean you can't change content. The main difference is that it doesn't really allow for comments for the most part, although there are pages that do allow for comments, again, as we shall see. So in post, if you already clicked on it, you'll see a nice little hello world title. And what I would like to do is just kind of show you around a little bit. As you can see with bulk action, you can edit or move to trash. If you move the cursor over the title, you can edit, quick edit, trash, and view. So I'm just kind of showing you a little bit here and there. All categories, well, this is uncategorized. As you can see right here, it'll tell you the title of the article, who the author is, and the category. Okay, right now we don't have a category. Tags, basically, they are for search engine optimization. Okay, this is comments, and I don't want to show what comment I got because I don't know. I always kind of make sure that it's pretty decent comment, not these spams or not anything that might be offensive. So I want to avoid all that. But here is the date that it was published. Okay, and if you go ahead and click on edit, let's go ahead and click on edit. And what I'd like you to do is says, welcome to WordPress. This is my first post. Edit or delete it, then to start talking. So just go ahead and type in, this is the post tab. Let's do that. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and press update. All right. So there's a couple of things you can do. Now, as I said before, you can actually click on the home and click on visit site and right click and open in a new tab. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. This is more beneficial for when we are doing a page rather than a post. But as you can see right here, there it is. Okay, I can actually see that my content has been refreshed, and also the link hello world is also refreshed. But look what happens, it takes you to a whole new page. So it's kind of a repetitive thing, and here is the comment. Okay, so at any rate, it's not that bad. It's from the WordPress commentator. And then of course you can leave a comment and post it if somebody wants to do that. So you're allowed to do all that fun stuff. Let's go back one. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and find a article to import into here. Okay, so I'll be right back and then I'll find you the article. Okay, and here we are. I did find the article. It's not actually an article, but it's one of my most favorite speeches of all time, and that is Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, uh, back in August of 1963. And so this is from Stanford University. And what I'd like you to do, of course, if possible, is go ahead and highlight and copy. So what you're going to do is start with "I am happy to join you today," and then you're just going to go ahead and highlight. I would say let's go a good size down. Not all of it, but a good size down. So I'm going to go ahead and copy as much as I can, and I'm going to copy, okay, or right click, copy. And then I'm going to go into post. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on post over here and go back to the main menu over here, or the main control panel for post. And I'm going to go ahead and click on add new, okay, or right here. You can click on here or here, whichever one. And I'm going to go ahead while the "I Have a Dream" is still in memory, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in MLK's, okay, "I Have a Dream." Okay, let's go ahead and do that. You can type it any way you like. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I will eventually paste it. Now, be very careful. Before we paste it, hear me out. Okay, now if we paste it the way we want it, okay, watch what happens. I'm going to paste it. Okay, paste. Alright, so as you can see right here, it's pasting, and I guess I kind of got lucky because it didn't carry in the format. If you just paste it from a website into this, you might carry the format. In other words, you might carry things like links or different fonts or things of that nature. So I'm going to undo that by pressing Command Z or Control Z if you're using a Windows. So I'm just going to leave it all out. And if you notice that there's different icons over here, these are different controllers of the fonts, or that control formatting. Now there is this special little icon over here. It's called the toolbar toggle. Let's go ahead and click on that, and when we do that, you'll notice that even more icons appear. Now we can actually add more icons, and that'll happen when we go over plugins. That actually is a plugin that we have to add more. But right now what I'd like to do is focus on this little icon over here, paste as text. Okay, because I'm copying straight from a website, I can actually pretty much copy everything as it's written inside this web page, which includes any kind of like font attribute, color attribute, links, things that I've just recently mentioned. But what if I copied right here, paste as text? I click on this and then I get this notice. Paste is now on plain text mode, which means that pretty much all the formatting disappears. So I'm going to click here, okay, where the blinking cursor is, and I'm going to go ahead and paste. There we go. So it's pretty much what it was before. So in other words, it didn't really capture the formatting, but that's okay. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Alright, I have a dream, and let's go ahead and publish it. Now, let's go ahead and go over things. First of all, you'll notice there is a thing here called permalink. So this is a page, this is the link dedicated to this content here, this page here, this post here, as I should say. So if I were to go back to my live site the way it is right now, and I refresh, okay, so you'll notice that the latest article comes first, and you see here that it says continue reading, which is kind of unusual because we didn't ask that. But at any rate, you'll notice that it just keeps the older the content, like in this case, hello world, the further push down it gets. MLK's I Have a Dream is the next one. Now, when I click on continue reading, or when I click on the title, and I always recommend clicking on the title, if I click there, notice that all the entire speech, the one that we parsed that we copied, are right here. Okay, and again, I can leave a comment, post, all the wonderful things about this speech. Now I can go ahead and go back one, okay, and return to the actual live site. Alright, so let's go back to the post, okay, and now what I really can do is basically, let's go ahead and work on all these formatting, okay, and where it says applause, obviously we don't have to, we can get rid of that, but I am happy to join you today, so I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice heading. Okay, there it is right there. And as you can see, that the whole, I was hoping that only this part would be bolded. Let's go ahead and undo that. And by the way, by undoing it, you can actually use these little icons here, undo, redo. So let's go ahead and undo it. And let's see if I can just bold the first few words. Okay, so if I click on bold, it does happen. And go down history grades demonstration. So at any rate, I'm not going to bother cleaning up too much, but again, I can go ahead and highlight certain text. Feel free to copy and select and try it. Again, this time I can apply italics. And now what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to go ahead and put in a series of dashes and then type in, and as you can see, it kind of centered for some reason. Not really what I wanted to do, but maybe it's something specifically for this website. Let's see. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to type in, it shouldn't do that. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm not having a good day here. Okay, so at any rate, I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and undo everything. Undo, 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 if you're experiencing that. Okay, and instead, let's go ahead and put the horizontal line instead of the dashes. Okay, there it is right there. Now, I'm going to type in other civil rights leaders. And just going to kind of think off the top of my head, obviously, Malcolm X, okay, Jesse Jackson, okay, Rosa Parks, some of the great names, and of course my favorite, Harriet Tubman. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add another horizontal line. There it is right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and highlight other civil rights leader, bold that. I'm going to highlight this, and now I can actually either decide to bullet point. Okay, and as you can see, the top part was bulleted, so now I undo this because that's not exactly what I want. So I'm going to skip a line, and let's see if I can do it this way. Better. And of course, if I want all of them bulleted, I have to pretty much play this game. I put the cursor, okay, to the left of Jesse Jackson, and I just keep, and I try to delete it until it goes to the line above it, and press return, and that's what happens. Okay, now it's being bulleted. So delete, 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 goes to the next line over, and there we have it. And of course, this is extra work, so basically it's you know, I'm able to separate them from the rest of the speech, and that's what these horizontal lines for. And the one thing I did notice is that I was reading a little bit down that we did not include a part of the speech that to me is the most significant one. So I'm going to go back to this page, okay, and of course it's this section right here. I am not mindful that some of you have come up here and then all the way down here where it starts with I have a dream. That is the most important thing right here, the most important part of the speech. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Let me see actually. So I'm going to copy this and go back into this mode right here. Alright, and where it says I have a dream. Okay. Now notice there's quotes over here. So I'm going to put the quotes the next line over. I'm going to get rid of all this other stuff here. And I'm going to highlight this. Okay, and I'm going to remove the quotes, and let's go ahead and see what happens when we click here. There it is. Notice that it kind of like shows itself a little bit more. Alright, the rest of the stuff we can add, like clear formatting. In other words, if I was to highlight this and italicize it, and if I click on this, the italics disappears. This is of course left indent more to the left, indent more to the right. So in other words, if I put the cursor right here where it says I say into today, my friends, and I go ahead and click on increase indent, notice it goes up. Okay, let's see what happens when I put the cursor to the right side. Will it indent backwards? Yeah, it will, but unfortunately not the way I want it. So at any rate, we'll just leave it alone. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and update and see exactly what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go and refresh, and let's go ahead and click on, well, once again, the title or the continue reading. Let's click on this, and you'll notice there's the bullet points that I just created. Okay, scrolling down, looking for there's the indentation, and there's that all men are created equal. Okay, beautiful, nice, wonderful, great, awesome. Alright, so the rest of this page here, as you can see, you can actually look at this right here. Current status, right under publish, you'll see it'll tell you the current status. The status says that it is published. Now what if I decide to unpublish it? I'm going to go ahead and click on edit, and then there's a drop down menu, and then I'm going to click on draft and then press OK. What happens? Well, I'll click on update, let it do its thing, go back up, go back a little bit. There we go. Right now let's refresh the page, and notice that the MLK had disappeared because the status is that I'm updating. And I can also unpublish it by asking it for pending review. Okay, but I want it published, so let's go ahead and let's see what happens if I decide, oh that's right here it's published, so I'm going to publish it. I love it. There's no reviewing. It's been there for decades. We love it. And the visibility, of course, if I decided, I can basically keep it public. I can have it password protected or private, which means that only I could read it. Alright, and then of course this tells me different revisions. So if I click on browse, okay, it'll basically, if I click on this icon right here, it'll go back several visions. Okay, now this probably won't matter because we created this in a matter of minutes, so it's not really important to that. But you know that if days goes by and if you made a revision or two, you can always go back to the old revision if you need to do that. So it's really good. There are really no two revisions to compare, although here it is right here, in case you find a difference. But you know that the option is over there. So let's go ahead and remove there from there, and let's go back to the editor. Alright, format. Standard format, aside gallery. Obviously, these are different kind of formats based on the content, and again, this will become more clear, although as you can see right here, all we have is text, so it's just a standard format. And then there's gallery. If you had pictures, there's images, obvious also pictures, but gallery is more about multiple pictures, whereas an image, some people just have just one image and that's their post. That's it. Again, video, yes, it's very likely that a post will have just a single video. Okay, now the category, well, we're not going to add the categories yet. We will. It will get clear at a later time. So that is all about post, and we will go into pages and we'll actually do our first assignment right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and return.